What are Americans not ready to hear? You need more than two political parties for democracy to work. The word, cunt. I saw/heard footage of a school shooting broadcast on TV where a kid's swearing was bleeped out. Like swearing was the thing that tipped that scene over into indecent. But boy, could we hear the shots and the screams. You need to get your priorities sorted. Edit. Someone called BS on the footage I'd seen. It was on CNN and you can clearly hear the gaps in the audio defending the delicate ears of the listener. Warning, obviously it's distressing footage. https://u2.b/5j7wfa2im. Mexico is not in sepia lightning. That the entire world excels at making bathroom stalls that you can't see between. Not sure why the US stall manufacturers can't figure out how to close those massive gaps. Fingernails scratching on an upstairs window coming from outside at 3 a.m. You shouldn't have to give birth then go back to work a week later. What temperature it is in Celsius. You'd all be thinner if your cities were designed to be walkable. This is why you lose weight when you go to Italy despite eating nothing but pasta and pizza, because you're walking everywhere. You're the foreigner in 192 countries. Edit. UN recognizes 195 countries, missed out Palestine and the Holy See. Could go up to 198 depending on your sources. Choose whichever one you want. College shouldn't drain your entire savings account. I heard someone say that the way we look at Florida is the same way the rest of the world looks at us. The loudest voice in the room usually has the least to say. It's really weird how you guys glorify your politicians. Wearing merch of a politician? Very, very strange. They don't really know what terms like liberal/socialist/fascist mean. 5 hours of yak noises. A bidet is cleaner than using toilet paper. Your tipping culture is a scam. Tipping should not be a burden obligation of your customers. Working 80 hours a week isn't something to brag about. Female nipples don't actually cause trauma when seen. Beer and fried food are causing more problems than hippies and pot ever did. After several trips to the US, my colleagues there couldn't accept how poor they were, and 10 minutes in any city makes it obvious. Huge individual debt, minimal savings and no time for themselves. That is not the standard in the developed world. Even when our taxes are high we have time to rest and basic life essential services covered. Free/low-cost education even allows us to break the class divide if we want it enough. Sure, there are millionaires and billionaires in the US, but chances are neither you nor your family will get anywhere close because you don't have the opportunity to improve without going into decades of financial debt. Maternity leave should be more than 12 weeks. Tipping is not a good way to pay your staff. Profit-based healthcare is wrong on so many levels. Yes, you do have an accent. If you think you don't because you read words exactly as they're written, without any kind of regional flair, you're mistaken about that. There's no such thing. Speaking without an accent would be like typing without a font. An accent is just a method of pronouncing a language. Everyone has one. America is only capitalist for poor people. Rich people live in a socialist state, where they constantly get bailouts, subsidies and debt forgiveness. The way you understand race, culture and ethnicity is not universal. Applies to many things actually. You're not the global default. Not only are half these comments things that Americans are ready to hear, but they're also things that Americans themselves have been saying for quite a while. You let food companies put in whatever crap preservatives they want and make up weight with artificial sweeteners instead of real ingredients. That's the big threat to your life, not secret communists. I have a genuine question. In Ireland it's easy to be healthy as generally you can get whole foods like fruit, veg and meat for cheap that's high quality. I hear in America whole food is more expensive and the meat is pumped with chemicals and generally not what we would consider fresh. How do you stay fit for those of you who like that as a hobby? Religion has no place in politics, hence separation of church and state. A free market hires illegal immigrants. Anything with frequency lower than 20 Hz. 99% chance that there's nothing wrong with that computer you're just gonna throw out. It's probably just software cruft. Pledging allegiance to your flag every morning is really strange. We had that in Europe /80 years ago. It didn't end up well for anyone. Your portion sizes should be smaller. Most of us logically thinking Americans know all these things and don't like them just as much as you. This post is less shit I'm not ready to hear and more shit I'm already aware of but too poor to affect. Despite every problem your country is dealing with right now, you are all still immensely privileged and most of you live a life that millions can only dream with. We are not united at all. The only reason we are so cutthroat about being every man for himself is because we live in a country that makes us fight for our basic needs and human rights. Your obsession with lawns is weird. Let native plants grow where they need to grow. Grass isn't prettier than your local flora. That US is behind a chunk of third world countries in labor laws, safety, public health and accessibility to education. In most modern world, you would never be 1. In constant fear of being fired and not being able to do anything about it. 2. One illness away from bankruptcy. 3. Paying for education for the rest of your life. Americans are great at believing how great they are. And the US has a great PR.